Welcome back to the Unleashed. I'm your host, Jared Beeler. Let's jump into it. Romans chapter 10, verse 15. And how shall they preach except they be sent? As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of them that preach the gospel of peace and bring glad tidings of good things. All right? Blessed are they that are out there encouraging other Christians. Don't give up. You're going to make it. Hang in there. Jesus is coming back. Those kinds of encouragements, okay? We're told to do that, all right? To lift each other up. Titus 2:13, looking for that blessed hope and the glorious appearing of the great God, our Savior, Jesus Christ, who gave himself for us, that he might redeem us from all iniquity, purifying to himself a peculiar people zealous of good works. These things speak and exhort and rebuke with all authority. Let no man despise thee. All right. So when there's other YouTubers out there that are coming in and trying to tell you not to be encouraged, you're going to be going through tribulation, you're going to die and stuff like that, you can rebuke them. They have no idea what they're talking about. All right. And why is this? Because they're always looking for verses and passages and things like that. And like I always say, we're keeping them all. None of them get thrown out. They get put into a place. When one's speaking of one thing, they don't get thrown out. It just clearly, if it doesn't add up, might be talking about the second coming, all right, and not the rapture at all. Now, let's move to Matthew 24:37. But as the days of Noah were, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. All right? It's a reference to Noah in that time. They didn't know what was happening. For as in the days were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered the ark. Just like what we see today, all right? I see it all the time. Every day on Facebook, people are planning their weddings and stuff like that. Nobody has a clue what's coming. And just economic experts that might not even be Christians see that there's looming disaster coming, along with people that are paying attention to war and veterans and things like that might have nothing to do with it. They know. The rest of the world are so clueless about what's about to happen. It's truly unbelievable. Let's continue on. And they knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall the coming of the Son of Man be, all right? It's going to catch them off guard. Then Jesus continues on. Then shall two be in the field, one shall be taken, the other left. Two one shall be grinding the mill, one shall be taken, the other left. All right? The point is that is another reference to the rapture. They're going to get snatched out at the same time that the tribulation comes out of nowhere, where they're giving in marriage and going about daily business, all right? So what is the point of this? The point is that when we take this and we hold it with all the other verses, the rapture doesn't happen in the mid or the post-tribulation. Why is that? Because we would already know. The second the war and stuff breaks out, we're going to be able to compare this to seals so fast, it's unbelievable. We're going to know exactly what's going on, especially when peace deals are made, and 8 months later, the temple's being made in Jerusalem, okay? We're going to know instantly. We'll know, all right? And we'll know the tribulation had started. And what are we going to be doing? We're going to be yelling at the top of our lungs, hey guys, tribulation is going on, stuff like that. And then people are going to know exactly what happened, okay? That's not happening here, all right? What we see is it's catching them off guard. The only way that happens is when this takes place, the rapture, we get snatched out, the tribulation starts, and it catches them all off guard. It's a reference to them not knowing, okay? And Jesus is clearly saying this with his own mouth, which is why in Revelations, all right, in Revelations 3:10, Jesus goes on and says, in the same way when he's talking to the churches, all right, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation which shall come upon the whole world, to try them that dwell upon the earth. That's the whole world, all right? If he was talking about the last parts around Armageddon for a post-trib or something like that, that's not the whole world. That is literally the temptation. That's the trouble that's going to be coming upon over there in Israel, right? This is the whole world. It's talking about the whole length of the tribulation. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon the whole world, to try them that dwell upon the earth. Behold, they come quickly. Hold fast, which thou hast, that no man may take thy crown. Okay? Just more proof, all right? That this is weighing on. Nothing's being kept out. There's no deception here for anybody that might be a post or mid-trib, right? The verses themselves, when we hold them all up and look at each one without throwing any of them out, point to this only possibly being, if it's going to be fulfilled, like the days of Noah and things like that, it has to be pre-tribulation rapture, right? Matthew 25, all right? Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins, which shall which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom, and 5 of them were wise and 5 of them were foolish, all right? The world has nothing to do with Jesus, okay? So it's not talking about them. This is talking about Christians out there, okay? They that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them, but the wise took their oil in their vessels with their lamps. While the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept. And at midnight there was a cry made, Behold, the bridegroom cometh, go out to meet him. All right? This is Jesus coming back. Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps, and the foolish said unto the wise, Give us your oil, for our lamps are gone out. All right? They've been backslidden. They're not paying attention. They have no idea what's going on. They want to know information in the last minute, okay? But the wise answered, saying, Not so, lest there be not enough for us and you. But go ye rather to them that sell and buy for yourselves. And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went with him to the marriage, and the door was shut. Afterward came also the other virgins, saying, Lord, Lord, open to us. These are the people that are going to be left behind, all right? They've been persecuting the whole time. The naysayers going, Why, Jesus, did you leave me behind? Oh my gosh, I've been preaching post-tribulation rapture the whole time and not paying attention to anything, enjoying the sins of the flesh and not repenting, and you left me behind. I don't understand. Literally, this is exactly what they're going to be doing, all right? The same people that are persecuting right now for looking for the rapture, okay? But he answered and said, Verily I say unto you, I know you not. Watch therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour where the Son of Man cometh, okay? Keep paying attention. Don't listen to what anybody else is saying out there about this not about to happen. We definitely can see it taking place, okay? Why haven't aliens showed up sooner, all right, that we know are demonic beings in flesh suits, okay? That's going to be a part of the deception, that they're from other galaxies and things like that. Because aliens can be rebuked, all right? Plain and simple. They're demonic, and they can absolutely be rebuked. They have questioned this, and they spoke of in the book Exovatic with Tom Horn and Chris Putnam, all right, when they were talking to him. All right, they've dealt with this all over the world, every creed, culture, religion, and race. And the only ones that were ever saved where the aliens take off are the ones that cry out to Jesus and they flee. And they couldn't figure it out because they're looking from the world's point of view. Why would that have anything to do with beings on other planets, right? They're not, all right? They're demonic beings in disguise, all right? And they run at the name of Jesus because there's more power in the name of Jesus than anything else, all right? And you have power in this, all right? They came down right now, right, and we were still here, let's say the tribulation started because we're going to a mid-trib event or something like that, we could rebuke them, and it's like shooting bazookas at them, all right? They can't handle it. They'll run for their lives, and it's going to throw the biggest wrench you could possibly imagine in their whole deceptive plan. However, if they come after we are taken, all right, to the world, and the restrainers are removed, all right, and things, the coverage and protection that people have right now isn't there. It's at the last minute. You get right with Jesus, you're going to die, but you get to make it to heaven. This is the finish line. Step on one side or the other of the sand. That's the whole point. That's what's happening in the tribulation, all right? They're going to be coming down. They're not going to have to worry about that the way that they do right now, all right? And that is exactly why they're waiting until we get out of here. And they're on standby to do it as fast as possible because they don't want to waste any time. Satan's wrath. And he wants to get as many deceived as possibly can, all right? Just more and more reasons why this is a pre-tribulation rapture, okay? Every single thing that we look at when we hold this up and look at it, all right? And the times when Jesus comes back and he's grabbing the elect, all right? It's talking about the second coming. He's coming again, and we're going to be riding with him when he grabs them up, and we all meet in Jerusalem, and it sets up Judgment Day, okay? And you guys have heard what I said now. I believe we come back at Feast of Trumpets at the second coming. I think that's what it's applied for. And the 10 days that lead up to atonement are going to be clearing everything out, getting rid of bad guys, judgment, Jesus taking them out, us riding with him, you know. And then it sets up for Judgment Day and then into Tabernacles. And we finish those up, those last feast days, okay? And we go into the 1,000-year reign. And that's exactly what it looks like, okay? And the numbers line up really good for this year. And that's all that we've looked at. Do the numbers line up for this year? Because nothing can be thrown out. That's what I keep saying. It's not a happy time. Well, they're doing a peace deal in Israel in December. Maybe the tribulation will start then. Sorry, that doesn't work because it will continue around for 7 years and that won't fulfill the feast days, okay? And then when we look, well, what does he mean by the days shortened, all right? If the days would be shortened, then the 1290 and the 1260, that wouldn't add up. It says it goes for those exact length of time, all right? So the only way to look at it is what he's talking about is it extending past the 7-year tribulation. If it were to go past that, no flesh would be left alive. That's the only way that I can see and look at this, all right? If it was something else, it wouldn't add up with those numbers. I can't throw anything out. That's the whole point. All of it fits. None of it's a lie. All the verses get kept. And when you hold them that way, pre-tribulation rapture, the whole thing starts. The way that the peace seal is, that we just keep finding in more layers, more layers. The peace seal done with Israel is not the covenant done with many, okay? The covenant done with many, as far as I'm concerned, the way it's looking, if it's this year, it must have been done around the 3rd of October, okay? Started the 90-day countdown, all right? And at the same time that FEMA warning went out, I've also heard recently that all the states in the United States were warned of like 482-day warning to prepare for something big is coming. They didn't say what it was. This lines up to roughly around a year and a half, anywhere between when they heard it July 19th to around now, between November 19th or so to 2019 to around February 16th, 2020, okay? The same kind of time period we're looking at for the trumpets to start blowing and planet Nibiru to come through the system, just pelt everything. People have no idea what they're going to see. When you're looking out the side and a planet is taking up the whole sky and we're that close, the fear that's going to come upon people is literally going to stop their hearts, and especially when they miss the planet and go into the debris trail and it just obliterates Earth, okay? And this is just the trumpets, all right? It just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. We've been able to put this timeline together, if you've been following me now with the seals, because of working our way back from the middle of the tribulation where the 2 witnesses go up by looking at the woes and the trumpets. There's 2 trumpets where it gives an exact period of time. The 5th trumpet, all right, where it goes for 5 months, and the trumpet right after that where those spectral beings, they come out riding on horses or whatever, they go for a year, a month, a day, and an hour. When we put both of those together, it's a year and a half. And we know that the next trumpet after that is the 7th that is blowing and is also the 2nd. Well, right after the 2 witnesses going up, which is 3.5 years because they come here for 1,260 days from the beginning of the tribulation, all right? Which would line up around November 3rd this year and continue on, okay? When we work our way back from that, the 2-year mark is when the 5th trumpet's blowing, okay? So there's a period of time that happens between that for trumpet blast 1 through 4, all right? And then we hear from inside sources that Hillary Clinton and them that want to go underground is going to be for around a 6-month period of time, maybe a little bit longer, and then she wants to be president after it passes through, all right? This is telling me that it's around the presidency election year, okay, when it happens, which would be around the end of 2020 when that takes place. And this also lines up with that. When we take that 6 months in, boom, we can push it back again, and we find out that, okay, then that would make the seal, since this all goes in order, because it says after the last seal, boom, then the trumpets get ready to blow. They go in order. There's no overlay here. When we look at that, that means the seals go for 1 year and a half, okay? So it's extremely fast. Boom, boom, boom. They get split open. We're up in heaven. When it happens, Jesus is not the white rider. Why? Because he's the one opening it. He's up there opening it, right? The white rider is the Antichrist. And anybody that says that he who confirms the covenant is talking about the Antichrist, and literally a few verses later in Revelate or in Daniel 9:27, it literally says, and he goes in and does the abomination of desolation, which we read in other places, right? This is for anybody out there who's tried to argue with me and say that Jesus is the one that confirms the covenant, which ends up doing the abomination of desolation. It's completely ridiculous, okay? Because Jesus warns them to flee for their lives as fast as possible, because they're going to be massacred in Israel, and they're fleeing to Petra. Something interesting I just heard recently, that Oral Roberts, a pastor from back in the day or whatever, had stashed like 80,000 King James Bibles in the city of Petra. I find that interesting and, pretty prophetic, because when they run there, and that looks like the place they're probably going to go, they flee to the mountains, they're going to have those to read, and they're going to know, and they're literally going to say, "Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord." When they see Jesus come, just like he said they would, he's going to rip open the sky when they blow their trumpets, and boom, we're coming back and to deal out judgment. Get them up. They're going to accept Jesus. It's going to be totally incredible. They already will have had when they're out there in the wilderness. And then we set up the 1,000-year reign. All of this looks perfect, and it's lining up. Nothing is slowing down right now. I am watching the news. I'm paying attention to events. Us pulling out of the deal with Russia and China. They're furious about that, all right, with the nukes and stuff like that. All of this is just amping it up more and more for this to take place, okay? I keep watching it. I don't see it slowing down. If it went on one more year, it would be so amped up. I don't know how the people that would be giving in marriage and going about their daily business wouldn't be like, yeah, you know what? Something doesn't seem right here. And maybe they would start paying attention. This seems like the only time where it would still catch them off guard, which is exactly what I see when I look on social media. People planning their marriages and going about daily business, having no clue, thinking everything's about to get better, when they don't realize that we're right on the verge of World War III. And inside sources are saying the same thing. They're moving troops around. They're getting them in position. People that have been in reserves and stuff like that, and these reserve bases are moving more troops than they ever had since the Cold War, okay? We know that it's about to happen. That's exactly what we're paying attention to. And right before that happens, we get snatched up. The peace deal that's made with Israel from inside sources, from a guy that I listen to, and I totally believe him, what he says. The guy's been to heaven and everything else, all right? He literally said when he asked about it that when the Gog and Magog happens during the first part, it's short, which is exactly what I've been saying the whole time. It's an aspect of the second seal in World War III. When war breaks out everywhere, that's just another part. But God comes in and defends them while everything else is getting destroyed. He's looking out for Israel because that's their last week, all right? That's the point. He's refining them during that. And anybody else who turns to God during this time, during the tribulation, all right? Shortly after that, he was told that an aspect out of Europe will have a part of the peace deal allows them to build the temple. Why is this important? Because the girl who broke out from the Illuminati, Svali, also said that when this whole thing goes down, Europe or a European Union is supposed to take over a lead position. Russia comes in second, China third, America's like number fourth or maybe lower in world power, right? It doesn't work out for us. America goes down, all right? And that's the point. They want to get us out of the way because we're the last ones standing in between them and a worldwide coalition of government with one world control. And the aliens, the whole alien agenda is going to totally just push this and help this even more, all right? We're going to be like, look, we can no longer have this division that we have around the world. We have to come together. Look, there's other races out there on the planet. We're going to learn to be like them. Look at the technology they gave us. We can live 150 years and not get sick anymore. Blah, blah, blah. But we need to be marked like they do because that's how they run their planets, with a hive mind and computer control and stuff. So we're all going to take the mark of the beast. Oh, look, what a coincidence. We put out 5G and a whole bunch of satellites that run internet all over the planet so we can all be tracked wherever we go at the same time. What perfect timing, all right? No, it's not perfect timing. It's called diabolical planning, and they've been planning it now for a while. This whole thing is so prepped and ready to go. I can't believe it. We literally might be about to witness the rapture in a couple weeks. I've never been more jacked in my entire life. I have this feeling that is so calm about it. Never before. I'm in a terrible situation right now, financially and everything else. Normally, I would probably be freaking out, going, I can't believe this. But every single sign is only getting me calmer and calmer that this looks like this is the year that it happens, and it's truly incredible. I believe that maybe that's the reason why I lost the job, all right, because it didn't have anything to do with me. I was going to continue on, and I didn't like it, but I was going to continue on, and it was taken from me. What has this done? It's given me more time to talk to people, witness to people, and answer more questions, which is a full-time job because there are so many questions of people that I talk to. It's unbelievable, all right? And this isn't, I'm not the only one. I've heard it from other people as well, okay? I really have. Somebody wrote me in and they were laid off so they could finish a book for children. And she was saying, you know, it hasn't happened in the 10 years the company's been around. And it's just one more sign because our book's going to be about children and stuff that are left behind. And it's more stuff to help people. We're leaving as much message as possible, like the last minute calling, you know. And that's why I say watch out for distractions and things like that, because this whole thing is primed and ready to go. It looks like it's it. It really, really does. And that's exciting because that's the blessed hope. It's the encouragement, you know. If it weren't to happen, the encouragement's still going to come, and I'm going to keep talking. It'll give us more time to talk about other things, you know, that you might not know in the Bible, you know, some of the other stuff. But when it does, I just want to keep talking about the rapture, let it know that it happened. Anybody that might stumble upon a video or something like this, it's only going to be more proof for them to know that this is exactly what happened. We spoke about it. It was talked about it right before it happened, and literally it happened just like we were talking about. And for that reason, you know, it's just one more thing that might help kick them over the edge, that the whole thing's real. Get saved, trust in Jesus, and give your life to him, because it's so important right now in this last hour, right? I'm still watching. Every single thing has not pulled back. It's only pushing towards this climax. And now on the 27th of this month, we're going to be getting into, since Rosh Hashanah this year, what would be the second month and the 17th day, the same time that Noah happened, or a week past that on an Enochian calendar, which pushes around November 3rd. That's the time that I am picking, all right? Not because of the Enoch calendar, just because that lines up with other things that seem to be taking place, along with other events that people have come out and said to watch out for that time as well. And the economy crash, I believe, that will happen in November around the 11th that they want to do, all right? More stuff to that. But we're opening into a rapture window, like one that I've never seen before. Absolutely incredible time that we're in right now. Absolutely incredible. Be encouraged, all right? Don't get discouraged when people are on there pushing their tribulation idea. I've seen every single one of them. They're all absolute weaklings. I could take them in a second, okay? And they think that they're going to survive the tribulation. It's a joke, all right? I might be a survivalist, a human weapon, and everything that I've trained out, and all the bad guys that I've taken out when I was in the military, okay? It means nothing when the tribulation starts, all right? You can't stop asteroids coming down, okay? This idea that they're going to be spiritually divine and powerful and going around and doing stuff, I've heard it from old people and everything else. It's just them holding on to more stuff of the world, okay? Let it go. Let it all go. It's ridiculous. If this was a survival thing before it, yeah, absolutely. I can do some survival stuff that's pretty awesome, all right? But once the tribulation starts, that's all out the window. It doesn't mean anything, okay? And I know that. I'm smart enough to know that. And they're not, all right? So don't listen to what they're saying. It's a bunch of crap. Okay, it really is. And there's tons of them out there, and they're attacking more and more the closer it's getting, all right? And it's just Satan freaking out when people are having hope, hearing about how awesome heaven is, you know, and getting that mind about that, because he wants to take that away from people. He wants to put fear in them and stuff. And it's not true, you know. We shouldn't be fearful of anything. Be prepared for things, of course, but when the tribulation comes, we're going to get raptured out of here, and that's what we're looking for, a blessed hope, and it's exciting, and that's why we encourage one another with these things, right? Every single bit of evidence that we talk about here is only pointing to a pre-tribulation rapture that we get out of here. And yeah, we come back at the second coming with Jesus, and you know, the bad guys get taken out, and justice is served, and the horse is going to be up to the bridle, or the chest of the horse. The blood is, and it's going to be a massacre. But you know what? By that time, the world's going to know. I mean, the justice. It's going to be time for it. All right. God wants all to turn to Him. You know, He doesn't wish any should perish. He wants everybody to turn. So if you haven't called on the name of Jesus, I encourage you right now to do that. Cry out to Him. Tell Him, Jesus, I want to believe in You. I believe that You are who You say You are. You are God. You came down to earth. You died and rose again, all right? And You died for my sins so that I could be forgiven. I ask You to forgive me of all my sins and come into my heart and save me, okay? If you do this, you will be saved. If you have a chance, get baptized. Go for it. And, I encourage you guys to keep speaking and talking to people, because the window looks like it's closing. It's getting so close, and any last minute people are welcome to get on board. We're begging you to give your life to Jesus and get right, because the whole thing's about to go down. And these are exciting times, very exciting times, and it's going to be even more exciting when we get to see heaven and see Jesus face to face, and when we get changed. And I can't wait to experience that feeling of going up again, because it's the most amazing thing I've ever felt in my entire life. It's incredible. All right, hang in there, you guys. Keep watching and paying attention. So far, nothing has backed off from this. It looks like it's game on still. So we will wait and see. All right, keep looking up. God bless. I'll catch you next time on the Unleashing. Bye.